question is, are you ready?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
Throwdown Nation, we are live. It is a Monday night. We are rolling on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter/X, on Facebook, and on Twitch. And tonight we are throwing down with a Columbus, Georgia made, but Atlanta based wrestler, Big Protein CB4hree. And he was here just a second ago. Here he is, I believe. Huh. Just a second. There he is. You there? Hello? Looks like we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, I'm back.
Hey, all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Anyway, taking it from the top. Throwdown Nation, we are live. It is a Monday night. We are rolling on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter/X, on Facebook, and on Twitch. And tonight we are throwing down with a Columbus, Georgia made, but Atlanta based wrestler, Big Protein CB4hree. And he is just the latest of the WWA4 folks to grace the Throwdown. How you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, how are y'all doing tonight? I'm doing great, man. I can't complain. Life's good. Everything's good. So I can't complain.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, for those of you that are watching this live, if you have any questions or comments, just throw them in the chat and we'll either handle them as we go or do a little Q&A at the end. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first and the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
August the 5th, first week of August, marked 4 years of training. When we hit Halloween, whenever that day is, that will be 4 years of pro wrestling, being an official pro wrestler. How the 4 does it at WWA4, you have to have a graduation match. That's when you're officially a pro wrestler. So mine was on Halloween. So when Halloween, whenever that day is, will be 4 years, but I've been 4 years in training.
Nice, nice. So, as I mentioned, you are another of the WWA4 products that I've had on the show. So tell us about your experience training under Fox. How has that been?
Yeah. So for 4 years, it's been fun. I've seen a lot of growth in the school, a lot of growth in people, and Fox has always been ahead of that. He makes sure that everyone from like whenever you start to where you're at now, he makes sure like there's a plan for you. He will see the plan before you see it. So like that's the great thing about him. I remember when I started in 2021, he wasn't in AEW yet. So like I was there a lot. The first 4 days, he'll be there Monday through Thursday. His work ethic is insane. Like that's what the training at the 4 is about work ethic, right?
Yep.
He makes drills that in all of us. So from the beginning of AEW to now, he still has the same work ethic, and it's like it's instilled in all of us. We all show up, we work, we do drills together. We do a lot of conditioning. Like the 4 is like conditioning is mandatory. We do a lot of conditioning, things like that. So training at the 4 is a lot of conditioning. Get your footwork right in the ring and things like that. Then you can get your moves and your character and things like that. But at the 4, we're all about conditioning, hard work, and getting better and growth.
Absolutely. So looking over at the chat room on Instagram, we've got Max Dumb Art in the chat room, and Don Miguel, the Don of commentary, is in there, and he made a comment of meatwad.
Ignore Don the commentary. Me and him we're not on good terms right now, but ignore him. Ignore him.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
Yeah.
So in terms of the early portions of your wrestling training, what was the most challenging part of professional wrestling for you to wrap your mind and body around? You had mentioned before we went on the air that you come from a basketball background, so you had an athletic background, but what was the most challenging part for you to kind of figure out?
Everything in the beginning was challenging because when I came into this, I thought I was going to be like Rey Mysterio 2.0 or Sin Cara. But wrestling's not like that. It's very hard. And I realized my first month or first week, first month in, I wish I had longer wingspan. I wish I had longer legs because it's like this game is literally like it's a game of inches and a game of like what you have and you don't have. So if you don't have it, you got to compensate for it. So in the beginning, it was very hard. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, like your mind and your body have to be connected when you're in this. And I struggled with that in the beginning. That's why it took me a year. But once I figured out like how everything was connected, it went well. But yeah, in the beginning it was hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it was hard, like having to remember stuff. You have to learn how not to do you gotta do the wrestling thing, not the human thing when it comes to reacting, right? There's two different things. You can react, don't be how the human reacts, you gotta react like a wrestler. And that's what Fox teaches. You gotta get over like a wrestler, act like a wrestler, and things like that. So in the beginning, all that was kind of difficult for sure.
Gotcha. So, I'm presuming that you've been at least a fan of this stuff the majority of your life. Is that pretty accurate?
I would say I found this out differently. I would say so. I had cousins. We're talking about like 2005, 2006. I found out wrestling because they had a GameCube and they were playing SmackDown versus Raw. Shut your mouth. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
found out wrestling. So I didn't. My household wrestling really was not on. Like I found out when I went to my cousin's house who the Kane and the Undertaker was and things like that. So they were living that larger than life. They were scared of them. I was scared of the Kane and Undertaker. So I really didn't get into wrestling for real until like 2013 and up. So like I'm a little bit late. Like I did watch the 2005s, but I wasn't really into wrestling till 2013 and up.
Gotcha. Yeah. It is amazing the number of people that I've had on the show that have had their initial introduction to professional wrestling through video games. I find that really interesting because, when I was a kid, I mean, we had like the Atari 2600, but I mean, we didn't have the video games of, recent years. So, I mean, and there weren't wrestling video games at all. But I'm finding that just to be really interesting as a gateway into professional wrestling. I just think that's really cool, actually. Um, but so I mean, aside from the video games, what is your earliest wrestling related memory?
Yeah, yeah. This is also funny to piggyback off that. So when my parents so after like cousins taught me wrestling video games, WWE used to always come to Columbus, Georgia. They might still do now, I don't know. But I remember 2007, my parents took me because like after playing the games, I wanted to go see it live. So it's probably like 2006, 2007. I remember this vividly because this is when they banned wrestling in my household. So it was like one of those things where it was like we went and this is where like the divas were divas and things like that. And I was a kid, so they're like they
Yeah.
kind of didn't expose me to that and things like that. But I do remember it was SmackDown and it was Batista versus Booker T. And I do remember like the crowd was really, really, really into it. Like I believe Booker T was heel at this time because the crowd did not like him, and Batista was babyface. So that's my earliest memory was the WWE SmackDown in Columbus.
Nice, nice. So, was there a particular point in your life, if you can narrow it down to a point that you knew you wanted to actually give this a try, that you knew your fandom had increased to the point where you were thinking, I think I could do this?
Yeah. So my senior year in high school,
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much wrapped my mind around it. I wanted to do wrestling, so like I started watching. That's when I started studying all types of wrestling. So it wasn't just WWE at that point. It was the PWGs and Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground. Like at that time, I was literally in science class watching Lucha Underground and PWG, and I didn't know who AR Fox was. So like you fast years later, the dude's training me and my coach and things like that. I could talk to on a regular basis. That's pretty cool. But it was senior in high school for sure because I just started watching everything and getting accustomed to like it's more than just WWE at that time.
Gotcha. It's funny. Lucha Underground happened at a point in my life where actually I was kind of tuned out of wrestling for a few years. So actually right now I am working my way through Lucha Underground. I'm in the middle of season 3 right now, and it is just so fun, seeing a lot of these guys like Fox, as Dante Fox and Swerve as Killshot, I mean, just seeing the younger versions of names, today in that environment is just really cool. And Lucha Underground did some really groundbreaking stuff just in terms of the way they presented wrestling and the overall storytelling and just the environment, the cinematic nature of a lot of it. It's just really ahead of its time.
Yeah, I agree on that. I agree. It was definitely different.
So, away from wrestling, what are some of your other hobbies and interests?
Yeah, so away from wrestling, I watch a lot of sports. Any sport, football, baseball. I follow basketball. I follow every sport. So I'm an avid sports watcher. I listen to a lot of music, all types of music, and I power lift. So like I'm always doing something when I'm not wrestling. So I have a lot of hobbies within those three. Sometimes video games, things like that, but music, powerlifting, watching sports are really my hobbies for real.
Gotcha. Sports wise, who are some of your teams?
Yeah, so I'm an Atlanta everything fan. My dad put me onto that. So anything Atlanta I rock is because of him. So Falcons, Braves, Dreams, Hawks, things like that. College football, I have different ones because because of my career field. So I like Georgia Tech because I used to work for them in the past, things like that. For college, I like Duke basketball, things like that. And I cheer for Alabama Roll Tide every now and then.
Oh yeah, my wife is actually a Bama graduate, so I'm a Bama fan by marriage. So
Okay, congratulations.
yeah, thank you. So you mentioned liking a lot of music and stuff, and we're mostly a wrestling related show, but we do dabble a little bit into pop culture, and I'm always looking for recommendations. So are you watching or listening to anything cool right now?
Uh, I would think to me when it comes to music, like I go by spell, but like for anything cool, what I normally do It's just like just listen to the top 100 charts and put it on shuffle. But like artist wise, I mean, there's nothing wrong with like a Travis Scott, an NBA YoungBoy. But like, so I'm from the South, so like I mostly listen to rap. But every now and then I'll switch up and go to pop. But but right now I know my world is just like Atlanta rap scene, female rap is taking over. So that's what's going on right now in that type of world. But to put you on thing, I'll probably listen to Travis Scott. I know he had Fiend for WrestleMania last year. Travis Scott is never a bad thing. NBA YoungBoy's coming up in the world. Playboy's Cardi's coming up in the world. So there's a lot of young artists for newer audiences for sure.
Gotcha. Looking over at the Instagram chat, shout out to Wildside Wrestling Podcast. They're hanging out with us, and Rachie Does Things from the great state of Florida is hanging out. So another question for outside of wrestling, and that is, outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
Oh, okay. So I don't have a person. I have a whole lot of people. But
okay.
So like,
go for it.
Yeah. So I can't leave people out, man. I got people. I don't want people mad at me. But for sure, be my mom and dad for sure. They're 1 and 2. My grandma for sure. Sister for sure. My niece. All my aunts and uncles for sure. And then my cousins from the girls' side to the boys' side. To me, everybody influences me because I feel like I can learn from anybody. So I don't like look at just one person from influence. I look at a lot of people, but it's mostly my family.
That's awesome. Family is really and truly where it's at, man. So, like I said at the beginning, you are Columbus, Georgia made and Atlanta based. What was your favorite thing about Columbus?
I love Columbus. I love going back. If I could live there, I would. But I mean, one thing I love about it is my family's down there. But like city-wise compared to Atlanta, everything it's not like spread out, right? Because I'm in Atlanta, so everything's spread out. Like a 40-minute drive in Atlanta could be an hour. Columbus, everything's about 5 to 30 minutes out, and there's not that much traffic, but there's a lot of back roads that make things quicker. Atlanta back roads are hours, so you know, I miss the easy navigation, things like that. I will say probably like food in Columbus may be a little bit better because it's more local spots and it's like, community local spots. So they've been there for years and things like that. And they have probably the same recipes and things. So I'll probably put that above Columbus. But other than that, the community of Columbus, I think to me, I just miss it overall than, being in Atlanta.
Gotcha. Well, I'll ask the same thing about Atlanta. What is your favorite thing about Atlanta?
Favorite thing about Atlanta is always active. I'll say that Atlanta's always active. Whether it's wrestling or life stuff like that, there's always things to do, always people to meet, and my job's up here. So all my jobs up here, all my activities up here. So I love it. So then there's no complaints in that field.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been through Columbus a number of times. Usually we'll swing through there. Most summers we take a family trip down to Florida, and we usually pass through Columbus heading down there. And I've actually got a few friends that were in the Army that did some time at Fort Benning. I had a friend from high school that went through Ranger training down there. And I've known a few other folks to go down there for that. So that's quite a facility they've got down there. So what does it sounds like you've got a very tight knit, very supportive family. But what does your family think about the fact that you are pursuing your professional wrestling dreams? How do they feel about it?
My family's 50-50. But they're always supportive, so it's not a bad thing at all if you're not with it or not, but they're always supportive, and I think that's all you can ask for in that situation. But I mean, like, at the end of the day, they just don't want you to get hurt, and that's respectable. Right. They don't want you to get hurt. My dad hates that I do the cannonball. So it's like, he thinks like one day I'm gonna do it and my whole body's just gonna snap. Hopefully that never happens, but
Yeah.
they support me at the end of the day, and things like that. But just stay healthy and things. Hope not to happen, but they're always supportive.
That's awesome. So, they say that the best wrestling personas are usually yourself turned up to 11. So, tell us about, in-ring CB4hree and compare and contrast him with everyday you.
Yeah, so I guess the comparison is like, so CB4hree and me, and like I'm about my business. So like, I'm a business person, no nonsense. I like to get the job done. So what I'm here for. We're gonna get it done. That's me. Um, the contrast is I'm in real life. I'm way chill compared to the character CB4hree, because CB4hree does a lot of stuff that just is like it's crazy. Like we were talking about it earlier, the speed and agility. Um, yeah, like that's the assertiveness, that's the aggressiveness, that's the dominant. I am dominant in real life, but I'm not showing it in spurts like in a wrestling match and things like that. So the comparison is definitely like, I'm chill. I'm about my business. I'm always about my business for both of them. But yeah, the contrast is CB4hree. He's aggressive. He's aggressive, assertive. It's a different person for sure.
So, you mentioned that you've been doing this for 4 years. So thinking back, tell us about your very first match. What was it like? How did it go? What were your thoughts? Tell us all about the very first one.
Yeah, so my first match, I can remember it because I'm gonna plug it. Wicked 4, WWE 4. Wicked is our Halloween WrestleMania. So all the legends from the WWE 4 have participated in Wicked. So Fox put my first match on Wicked 4, which is kind of crazy. Think about like he trusts us to put us on Wicked 4. So Wicked 4 was a match. It was called Team Humidity versus Team WWA 4. So to
Okay.
break it down, Humidity was the WWE Force NXT. If you want to look at how all of us like before and now, go look at all our Humidity tapes. You'll see everybody you interviewed before how we grew down. So Team Humidity was running, WWE 4. At one point, I think we had more views than the Thursday show. So we made a storyline out of it. So Humidity was
Nice.
like coming up, and things like that. And so we took over Thursday Humidity. It was me, Mr. Sexy, DJ Bruner, the Urban Legends, Maureen, Don Cameron, Jay Tyler, all these guys we took over. And then we had just a long rivalry, and the build up paid off was at Wicked 4, which is our WrestleMania. So it was me, Mr. Sexy, and DJ Bruner versus Rico Gonzalez, Keelan Cole, and Larry Lazard in a 6-man tag for Wicked. Team WWA 4 versus Team Humidity. The match was cool. Looking back at it, we were in the ring with some good vets. So it was a lot to learn from that match because they took care of us and they put us in a position to succeed because that show was crowded. And I want to say we went about like we started at 7, we went at 9. The WWA 4 during that Wicked, we were at standing room 10 minutes in. So your first match, you're in the room with a lot of people. So I probably wrestled against like in front of at least 50 people my first match in a crowded room, 50 people. But it's cool though because I feel like we all up to the legacy. DJ's doing good. I'm doing great. Sexy's doing great. Everybody's doing great in the trios. But the match was pretty fun, entertaining. But in Team Humidity won.
Nice. So, you've told us about the first one. Now, if you can narrow it down, tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of.
Ooh, favorite. I think I have. Can I give you two? Can I give you two?
Please.
Yeah. So my first one would probably be me versus Eddie Hendricks. I'm gonna plug that again. That's on the WWE 4 YouTube. It was 2 big men going at it. I know we did it probably 2 years ago in July. It was a fun match. it's very competitive. Like I'm a very competitive person, so I knew like what Eddie Hendricks was gonna bring in that match. We had fun, we killed it, and it was like I took a crazy bump in that match, and it's crazy because like that was not the original called thing, but I called that bump, and and I took it very wrong. But at the end of the day, I think it paid off. So when we do a second round of the match, it'll be very cool. But I think my favorite one, and this is crazy because I had so many in this young career, was me and Grayson Pierce versus Fox and Vivian Cross. That match to me was crazy because it's always fun working with Fox, but I feel like that one was on another level. And the tag match was very cool. That's also on the WWE 4 page. The tag match was very cool. Me and Grayson, Shooter Society, we're trying to get get his belt back from Fox. He brings in my nemesis, Vivian Cross, to team up. Banger match, excitement all around. This is wrestling, chance, all that. It was fun. It was very fun. And probably my favorite match for sure.
Very cool. Very cool. So, what is the longest distance you have traveled to get to a match so far?
So far, my young career will be 4 hours. And that doesn't seem long because I know people have done 8, 12, things like that. But my young career, 4. The 4 hours.
Gotcha. Well, you've been doing this long enough that I'm sure you've developed them over time. But what is your biggest in-ring pet peeve?
um, yeah, so mine is simple. It's really simple because I had learned this. Everybody learns this in different paces and spells, but mine is just like doing too much in heat. Like doing too much in general. Like wrestling's fun, things like that, but you have to remember, like at the end of the day, like you can take breaks. You don't have to just do too much in the ring. And so, like, yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve is when people do too much in heat. Because it's like Fox tells people all the time, like you don't want to kill nobody in heat. At the end of the day, heat's supposed to be the most boring part of the match. It's just to build the baby face up. But if you're sitting there dropping bombs on the face, how can the crowd believe this dude's gonna come back? So you have to have the biggest comeback of all time as a baby face. So to me, my biggest pet peeve is when I'm wrestling in a match or watching a match where it's like the heat's just too long. And people aren't reacting to the crowd and things like that.
Gotcha. So, if you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic, and why?
I feel like both of them translate. I feel like you have to be great in the ring to tell the story. The mic will come along. I'm a believer in that because I've seen people who are great on the mic, but people don't like their wrestling. So, but you have to tell us. You could tell a story both ways. That's the biggest thing. It's just how you tell the story, get it across. So I would have to go in the ring.
Gotcha. Looking over at the Instagram chat, we've got Azura Quinn. She's joined, and we are going to take a little break here, and it is time for the speed round. Adam Cole.
Charismatic.
Austin Theory.
Legend.
Bailey.
Hugger.
Ricochet.
Athletic.
Bronson Reed.
Finesse.
Stephanie Vaquer.
Talented.
John Moxley.
Arrogant.
Roman Reigns.
Goat.
Mike Santana.
Underdog.
So, do you have a preference yourself between working heel or babyface?
I love babyface because it's like I can do both, so I'm not tripping on it. But I love babyface because it's like heel, you control the match, right? So being a heel, you control the match, which is cool to do. He put, but he'll also take a lot of the moves. So in the beginning, I
Yeah.
was a face. Now I'm transitioned to heel for like a year or two now. Sometimes these moves are crazy, so you have to take these moves. I would love to be a face because it's always fun to like be on the ride with, be on the emotional roller coaster with the crowd. So I would love to be a face, but I can do both, so I'm not tripping over either. So I have to say both. I have to say both because I've done both so many times.
Gotcha. Well, in terms of your in-ring work and your promos, who or what would you say are some of your influences? Who has helped shape CB4hree into who he is?
Yeah, so my I would go my influences are Shingo Takagi for sure. That's my guy. I'll watch a Shingo match every day, no matter when, where. New Japan, Dragon Gate, that's my guy. Big E is my guy from WWE. When I first started out, I had a lot of his moveset. I kind of
Hmm.
switched off of it because it became too similar. Because then people were calling me Little Big E, and I didn't like that, so I switched off of it very quickly. Roman Reigns is an influence of mine, and then last but not least, AR Fox is an influence of mine. So, but the main two are really AR Fox and Shingo Takagi. Those are my top wrestlers I'm watching and watching them create influences and things like that.
Gotcha. So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? Uh, a match that's like comfort food. You just find yourself going back to it, and it never really gets old. Do you have a match like that, or more than one?
Yeah, so mine would be John Cena versus AJ Styles in SummerSlam.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
that's the one I would watch over and over and over again because it was special. It was very special. Like I now people are laughing. It's like I know who AJ Styles was, but it was crazy. That match is special. Both of them went crazy at the time, but just AJ Styles and Cena going at it is really crazy. Just think about at that time period.
Gotcha. So, piggybacking on that question, do you have an all-time favorite promo as a fan?
Mm, all time favorite promo. I would say my all time favorite promos have been when The Rock and Cena first went at it. Um, Before that, the Mania in Miami. I can't think of it, but the Mania in Florida. That was those are my favorite promos. The series, them going back and forth at that
Oh
Raw.
yeah.
Those are my favorite promos for sure.
Gotcha. So, and this is excluding yourself. Who at this moment, who are the best male and best female wrestlers in the world? Who's the best man and who's the best woman?
My best woman, I would go is probably Becky Lynch. Best woman, I can definitely say Becky Lynch is the best woman. Um, Oh, Mel, I don't know. Mel, I really don't know. I would say like I have a toss up. I'll have a toss up. It's either Seth Rollins or AR Fox. Those are my toss ups right now.
Gotcha. And in your opinion, who is the best tag team in the business right now?
Mm. Best tag team has to be FTR.
I won't argue that.
Has to
Uh,
be
I am dying to see Copeland and Cage against FTR this weekend. That's going to be good.
it will be.
So, and this can be present day or past. Who would be a dream opponent for you? Who would you love to have the opportunity to share a ring with?
Yeah, so I would say it would probably be Shingo Takagi.
Yeah,
That's just my favorite person of all time. I found out about him probably like 2021, 2022. So like I've been on him ever since then. I remember when Fox hit me up when he faced him on AEW. Cause like I remember this is like years back when Fox we were watching one of my matches and Fox was like, and I didn't even realize I did this. It just happened like the influence thing. But it was like Fox was watching. He's like, you remind me of Shingo because Fox and him had Dragon Gate together. So Fox was like, he saw similarities. So like when Fox faced him at AEW, he hit me up and he was like, "Yo, I'm fighting Shingo." I said, "Oh, that's cool." And that match is pretty fire. I watch it back to this day, but I for sure want Shingo. I would love that opportunity. He's pretty good.
Gotcha. So, of your cohorts that are out on the indies right now that you've encountered, who has the best walkout? Who presents themselves the best or the most uniquely on their way to the ring?
Ooh, Indies best. I would probably say Grayson Pierce, Neji Ichiban, and Teriyaki. Those three.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've had Grayson and Neji on the show. I have yet to have Teriyaki. I would love to get him on, but he's been a hard guy to run down.
You gotta get Teriyaki. Teriyaki's him. You gotta get him. You gotta get Teriyaki.
Well, next time you talk to him, tell him I'm looking for him.
I got you.
So, what is your favorite move? What is something you just really enjoy doing? I know the cannonball, but and on the flip side of that, is there a move that you won't do or you would at least rather not do, and that can be giving or receiving?
Yeah, so I mean, you said it, so I have to go in the story. Yeah, so my favorite move is a cannonball, but it's the reason why. So in the beginning, it's actually an evolution thing. So the beginning, I used to roll with it. The cannonball was a roll, so it really was not that impactful. There's videos of this, but it really was not that impactful. But I do remember the first day I took off on it in a match. It was a 4-way with me, Reggie Rage, Jason Briers, and DJ. I jumped. That's the first time I jumped. And the reaction was like, "Oh," and I didn't even realize I jumped. But there was a cameraman that took a picture of it. And I said, "Yo, this is crazy." So ever since then, it's been a jump. So that's why I would think that's my favorite move because, like, to be honest, in my mind, when I get in position for it, however I get in position for it, I'm in my mind, I'm thinking I'm about to take off like a plane. So, I hit once I hit the turnbuckle, gives me life. I'm taking off. So that's why it's my favorite thing, and it's always fun to like watch people's reaction when they take it because it's interesting. Like I've had times where people have just like been like Viv accidentally her first match, her I think something where she got stuck and she got like walked, and I was like, dang, I felt bad. But then when you look back at it, like I know how to make adjustments now. That's the evolution of being a wrestler too. When doing it, now I'm more protect myself when I flip, where I'm not just jumping to jump. So favorite move is a cannonball. Move that I don't want to give is a power driver. I tried it. I have short legs, and it doesn't work out. So I tried doing a power driver one time to my boy Grayson in training, and it did not work out. I have short legs. A move that like when it comes to taking, that's like interesting that I struggle with is like it's a back body drop. The Hulk Hogan because I flip all day long, flipping senton, cannonball, hip toss. The problem comes is like when you have to push off and flip and they're like picking you up. To me, that's like it's very tricky to get around. So like those are the ones I'd be like, when people like, "Yeah, I do a back body drop," I'm like, "Can you just give me the other one?"
Gotcha. So, you've been doing this long enough that I'm sure this applies to one degree or another. So I'll ask, what hurts right now?
Ooh. So luckily I take care of my body. So like I'm not in pain or things like that. So and I'm always active in recovery. But I have right now my ribs are sore. And I had a match with AWOL 4 weeks ago on Thursday Night Live. I don't know what happened. I really don't. I think it was just I think I got kicked in the ribs and it's been like sharp ever since. But I can breathe good and things like that. I think that's it, the ribs. But it's like before any match, I bio freeze up. Like That's all I always have that on me. So like I feel good regardless, but those are all things that sore on me. But nothing really hurts. I'm blessed to not be injured.
Absolutely. So, in the 4 years you've been doing this, what would you say is the worst bump you have taken?
The worst bomb. Uh, what is the worst? I would have to say, because I don't even think it's the worst bump. I can't think of any bumps I've taken that were like instantly like, dang. But I will say, flashback to the Eddie Hendricks match I was talking about earlier was the spot on the apron. I had called this. It's my fault because I realized in this moment, see, I'm a 2 foot jumper. I tried to jump on 1 foot. So Eddie Hendricks hooked me up for exploder off the apron, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't jump off two. I jumped off one. So when we went for the move, I realized I couldn't rotate. So when we coming down on it on the concrete pads, whatever, I had planted. So like, there's actually a photo of this. Shout out to Mr. Watkins. There's a photo of this me taking the move and planting. It felt like a DD, like one of those like you just planted on a DDT, but on concrete. So that's probably one of
Mm.
the bumps ever. It didn't hurt, but it's like out of all the bumps I think, that's the one I know like that looked. Wrestling's real when you see that picture, things like that.
Yep, absolutely. So, what is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool in wrestling, specifically indie wrestling?
Yeah, social media is definitely helping wrestling. I can say that because at the four we use social media a lot, so we all are promoting our own stuff and things like that. It's a huge tool. Yeah, it's definitely a huge tool. Helps us promote our things like that. I remember we did a trend. Shout out Teriyaki for like months ago, and the trend was pretty much post a wrestling move daily. A lot of people's engagements went up because of that trend. So social media is a huge aspect of that.
Yeah, I've actually looked at a lot of the little short videos that resulted from that, post a move daily, and those are just a lot of fun to watch. So, so this is kind of an interesting question, and I want to get your take on it because it's a hot topic right now, and I've seen a lot of differing opinions about this over the weekend, and that is, what is your take on WrestleMania 43 being announced for Saudi Arabia?
I feel like it was coming sooner than later, just because the way the world's moving. I feel like I remember telling people months ago. A lot of this is like when you look at the TKO and ESPN deals. It was
Mm-hmm.
WWE is going to be the first to break it down because next the Super Bowl will probably be going overseas. But I feel like my opinion, I feel like NFL don't want to be the first one to test it, so WWE will be the first one to test it. See how many people travel and go to WrestleMania, and then you'll see other people follow. So I feel like it's just a testing tool for other companies.
Got you. So, knowing everything you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Mm, I would. Uh, this is tricky. I would probably just tell my younger self, keep going. I'd probably just say keep going, because I mean, like where I'm at now, I'm somewhat satisfied, but just keep going. Always be 10 toes down and commit to whatever situation you're in, things like that. So just keep going.
Gotcha. So, aside from obviously enrolling at WWA4 and training under Fox, uh, do you have any advice for any young people looking to break into the business?
Yeah. Go to your local, nearest wrestling school and apply. I think don't think you can think about anything for however long, but you got to put action in effect and just go. So if you want to be a wrestler, you got to go to school, sign up, make it happen. You got to work hard at it. It's not gonna happen in day one. Fox says this. It won't be day one, day two, day three. It might take months or 3 or a year. So just go, sign up, work hard, and everything else follow. If you work hard, everything else you'll be good. You don't have to worry about anything else. Just work hard and you'll be successful.
Gotcha. So, do you have any pre-show traditions? Any things that you try to do consistently before you walk through the curtain?
Yeah. So about me. So what everybody knows is about me. I always keep peanut butter M&Ms on me on show days because I don't eat until like after the show. So if I'm gonna eat, it's gonna be peanut butter M&Ms. So I always have peanut butter M&Ms on me. I'll eat those the day of the show, and I'll hydrate the day of the show. So like that's pretty much what I have on me. So like before, if I'm match 3, we start at 8 o'clock. I'm match 3. I'm not changing until match 1, and I normally change like outside so I can like just be outside in the peace and relax and things like that. On water, think about whatever match is happening that I have and things like that, so I don't be distracted. But those are my superstitions: just finding out, being outside, chilling, hydrating.
Gotcha. You know, man, I knew I liked you. I love me some peanut butter M&Ms.
See, everybody at the fort knows I have them, so it's like they know I'm coming with them. Those are my big protein snacks for sure.
So, just kind of a quick rundown. What do you carry in your gear bag? Do you have anything unique or unusual that you carry in your gear?
It, to be honest, mine is just gear and biofreeze. That's all I have on me, and M&Ms. That's really all I have on me.
Gotcha. So, over the 4 years that you have been wrestling, what would you say is your favorite venue to wrestle in?
In 4 years, my favorite venue. I haven't really thought about like favorite venue. Um, I just low key just show up, which is bad to think about it like that. But I just low key just show up. But if I had to pick, it would probably be like I look at wrestling like this, like the WWE 4 is the home arena, right, on Thursdays.
Yeah,
So I would say like that's my favorite because it's home. But whatever indie show I'm at is an away venue. I feel like they're all my favorite because like every indie show I've done so far, I got all positive reactions. So I really don't have a favorite. So it's like I know everything's right. So I really don't have a favorite because every venue I've done as an indie has been fun.
gotcha. So, something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. So, my previous guest was another WWA4 guy, Jimmy Darren.
Mm,
And the question that he posed, and this is coming from his perspective of being a ring gear designer, and that is, what is the worst set of gear you have seen?
mm. Uh, I would say like the worst set of gear I've seen. Dang, I gotta start paying attention to these more often. But I would say like I guess is when people just have like plain design, like if they have a singlet just with no design. To me, that's kind of like probably the worst thing I've seen because it's not creative or anything. That's probably what I can think of right now. It's just where people don't have design on top of a attire.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So looking over at the YouTube chat, my wife actually posted a question for you, and she said, she's curious, since you've been wrestling for 4 years now, how do you feel the indie scene has changed since you started?
Um, so what I've seen, because I kind of got into the indies late, because I didn't get into the indies until probably year 2. But I can speak on like I've seen other people just uh, get growth in the indies. It's been on fire. So like I started in 2021. I've seen a lot of people start at before and explode up. When I went in 22, when I got my first indies in 2022, it was in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at a show called New Wave in Dothan, Alabama. It was a cool experience of a cool show. But the growth from that to what I'm doing now in the indies is crazy because it's like the productions of indies have gotten way better, I can say. The productions are way better. Everybody's treating it like what was that show on Stars? Heels. Everybody wants
Oh
to have
yeah.
production in the
Yep.
indies right now. So that's the difference from 4 years, 4 years ago to now.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, since this is part of a series, do you have a question you would like to pose to the next guest?
Oh yeah, sure. Let me think. Let me think.
Okay.
Uh, let me think. Let me think. It's gonna be a wrestling related one. I'm trying to think real quick. Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, this is crazy. uh,
Well, if you can't think of anything off the top of your head, you can always message me with something
okay,
later on. So,
that might have to work because I can't really think of anything right now.
okay. So, before we wrap this up, we're actually going to run through the card for AEW All Out and for WrestlePalooza. But before we get to that, do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to?
Yeah, so I knew I have some things coming up. I can't confirm yet because like the dates, I don't know. So I would say just follow me on my Instagram, CB4hree. I'm active on there, so follow me, and I can like share that soon because I don't want to say nothing, and I know it might not be confirmed yet. So yeah, follow me on Instagram, CB4hree. Follow my YouTube, CB4hree, things like that. But I will be posting soon when I'm doing some shows within the next couple of weeks for sure.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So we're going to go ahead now and take a look at the card. We'll go ahead and start with AEW All Out since that's actually happening first in the day. They moved All Out to a 3 p.m. start to I guess avoid going head to head with WWE that evening. But anyway, All Out is coming to us this coming Saturday from Toronto, Canada. And it's got a 3 p.m. start time, and they haven't announced the match order, so basically I just kind of put these in the order that seemed logical to me. So we've got the Hurt Syndicate, Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP against Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. What do you think about the match and who you got?
I feel like this is gonna be entertaining. But I'm definitely going with the Hurt
Yeah,
Syndicate. I think it's too early for the titles to switch. I think Ricochet is gonna need probably another build up. I don't see them making that change in Toronto just yet. But I'm going with Hurt Syndicate.
I agree. I mean, I don't see Hurt Syndicate losing this match. So then we've got Mercedes Moné and Riho for the TBS Championship. Who you got?
Mercedes. I don't see her losing
Yeah,
either. All right, it's gonna be a good match. Rio. It's gonna be a good match though for sure. I think Mercedes keeps the title for a little bit longer.
I agree. This one, the graphic is a little different because they didn't seem to have a graphic in the same style as the others for this particular match. I'm not really sure why, but this is going to be a tables and thumbtacks match between MJF and Mark Briscoe.
This is interesting because I would say Mark Briscoe 100%, but I feel like MJF will get this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think MJF will basically cheat his way to a win.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bloody
Oh
match for
yeah,
sure. But
I mean, if you got thumbtacks and tables, you're definitely gonna have a bloodbath for sure. In this, we've got a fatal four-way for the women's championship: Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander versus Tekla. Who you got?
this one's interesting because I feel like they built these women up, and it's unpredictable.
I agree.
But I'm gonna go with Tony Storm, just because.
Yeah, I mean, my head is saying Tony Storm retains, but I've just got this funny feeling that they might potentially do something with Statlander.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she's kind of put in her time and paid her dues. To where at least a short run with the belt, I don't think is out of the question, but we'll see.
Yeah, I can see that.
This one I am looking forward to: Copeland and Cage and FTR.
Yeah, I think we know Edge is winning this one because it's in his city. So,
Yeah.
So for sure, Edge and Christian will win this one.
Yeah, I agree. And then we've got a coffin match: Mox and Darby Allin.
I'm gonna go with Darby on this one. I think this is gonna be a good match. But Darby wins his favorite match, the coffin match.
I will agree. And then the AEW Championship: Hangman Page and Kyle Fletcher. The interesting thing about this match, I was reading this morning, originally this was supposed to be Hangman against Wardlow, but Wardlow apparently blew his pec out, so they kind of had to call an audible and put Kyle Fletcher in there. And, I like Kyle Fletcher a great deal. I think he has really come a very long way in a very short time. But the question is, are they ready to pull the trigger on Kyle Fletcher as far as being the top guy? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I want to go with Kyle Fletcher because I like Kyle Fletcher, but I just know Hangman's gonna hold on to the belt. I just know he is, but I want Kyle Fletcher, but yeah, Hangman is going to retain.
Yeah, I mean, that's what my gut says. But man, I feel bad for Wardlow. I mean, that poor guy seems to just be snake bit. If it's not questionable booking, it's injuries.
Yeah, because I remember in the inaugural one, he was up there. So, yeah, I feel bad for him for sure.
So moving on now to WrestlePalooza. That's going to be Saturday night at 7 p.m., airing out of Indianapolis, Indiana. And this is the inauguration of this new partnership with ESPN. So, I mean, they've really put together a fairly stacked card. So, and again, they have not released the match order, but, I'm again just kind of putting them in the order that makes sense to me. I see things starting off with the Women's World Championship: Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. Who you got?
This is tricky. I was at Evolution, so this is very tricky. Gosh, I would say I'm gonna say to go with Vaquer. The way she's like from a short time from NXT to the main roster, She's been successful. I think you put the title on her in Indy for the not, since Naomi's out. You can build a story around it. I think Io, I won't be surprised if Io wins too because she's had it for, in the past. But I think this match is a passing of the torch, kind of, not really. But if Vancouver beats Skies, her credibility is high.
Right. I agree. I think they are ready to pull the trigger on Vaquer. The one thing that makes me wonder is the fact that Stephanie Vaquer has not really been on WWE programming much of late. So it almost makes me wonder if something weird is going on with her. Is there some sort of crisis of confidence that is the company fully confident in her as being one of the top women? So I don't know. I would like to see her get a run with the belt because I think she checks a lot of the boxes. But I'm going to go with Stephanie Vaquer as far as being my pick as well. But I wouldn't be surprised really either way. So moving to the next match, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Cody on this one. I think Drew would win if it was on TV, but because it's ESPN, I could just see them picking Cody to win, just get over with the mainstream.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm going with Cody to win, but I would love to see McIntyre win and get a run with the belt. Because at this point, Cody doesn't really need the belt. Cody's just Cody. But I agree. I think Cody retains because like you said, it's the new ESPN era, and they're just looking to draw in as much mainstream attention as they can.
Sure.
So this next match, I'm looking forward to the Usos against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I think this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm a day one Uso fan. No pun intended. But I just think I don't know. I'm struggling because I feel like the way the story is going, I could see the Usos getting put down for this one and Brunson and Reed win.
I agree. I'm predicting that Breaker and Reed are going to win, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to end up being due to a Jey Uso heel turn.
Yeah, I agree. Somewhere on that.
And actually, I'm actually on board for a Jey heel turn. I mean, I think to some extent, the babyface Jey has kind of run its course, and I think something a little different would actually take him to ultimately to an even higher level than he's at currently.
No, I agree with that.
So now we've got Rollins and Becky Lynch against Punk and AJ. Who you got?
I'm gonna go. Yeah, so the return. I'm going Punk and Lee to set up probably something. I'm going with Punk and Lee on this one because I think this is probably a setup to Royal Rumble. I think that's what they might be aiming to, or War Games. I don't know, but I just think this is a closer setup to Royal Rumble in January.
I agree. I mean, I don't see Punk and AJ losing this match because, again, with it being the beginning of the ESPN thing, they want plenty of feel-good moments, and everybody wants to see Punk and AJ win this match. So yeah, I think this will be a give the people what they want.
Agree.
And then we have Cena and Lesnar.
John Cena, I feel like he could win this match, but I'm also looking at it from where you go next. If he doesn't, if he slays the beast, does Brock just go back into hiding? So I really don't know what the story is for the last match, and I don't know what Cena dates are. So I'm gonna say, the finish is gonna be a DQ.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. I don't think this is going to be quite the end of the Cena Lesnar story. I don't think Lesnar's going to be Cena's final opponent. I'm hearing a lot of rumblings that Cena's final opponent might be Gunther.
Gunther?
Yeah.
That makes sense. He's been off TV for
Yep.
a while, right? That makes sense.
It does. It does. So before we wrap all of this up, do you have any final words you'd like to say to the audience?
Yeah. Appreciate all y'all for watching. Nice to meet y'all. Follow me on social media, CB4hree20. Follow my YouTube, CB4hree20. Watch all my highlights, my matches, things like that. And if you have any questions about wrestling, DM me on Instagram for CB4hree20. And come watch the show at the WWA 4. Come watch me at DWA. If I'm there, watch me anywhere of these local indie shows.
Absolutely. One of these Thursdays, I need to get out to a Thursday live show. I've been meaning to do it, but it's just Thursdays are usually hard because I work the next day and all that. But I need to actually get out there, and if not that, I need to get out to a DWA show as well. So.
Yeah, sure. Just let us know or let somebody know when you're coming. Yeah. We'll be happy to have you, whether it's DWA or WWA 4. The 4 is our home, so Thursdays are not practice matches, but it's training shows. But that's what we do all our stuff you'll see on the indies at. Will probably be more enjoyment, to watch us from the ground up and then take it to the indies and things like that. But both are fun though. I love DWA too. DWA has been great. We just did Bruising and Fuse 5 last Friday. Yeah, I was there. Bruising and Fuse 5 last Friday. I know Wild Wings is coming up on 9/26, DWA, and I know we have another Bruising and Fuse coming up and another Wild Wings.
Awesome. Well, as far as what we've got coming up on the Throwdown, tomorrow night, at 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got episode 154, and my guest is going to be a fellow wrestling podcaster, Chris Page of CCP Podcasting, and he also focuses on spreading the word about the indies worldwide, and we actually have some ongoing and future collaborations in the works. So it's going to be a fun time, basically just a couple of guys nerding out about wrestling. And, what's better than that? And then next Monday, the 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got episode 155, and this one's going to be kind of unique. This guy El Payaso Enigmatico is a wrestler who apparently he has been out of the business for some time, but he is getting back in, and he is creating a whole bunch of buzz with some really unique little vignettes on social media. and he's really creating a lot of lore and just kind of some slow burn storytelling with what he's got going on his socials. I'm not entirely sure what to expect with this. So I'm actually really intrigued. This is going to be one of these shows where he is going to be completely in character. I'm excited about this one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then next Wednesday, the 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got episode 156 with a Florida-based wrestler, the Private Eye Slade Porter. He's another one from out of the House of Champions in the Orlando, Florida area. And that is another school that is producing a lot of talent. And you know, I've had several folks from HOC on the show as well, and they are another school that is, like I said, producing a lot of top-notch performers. So it's going to be a good time. But you know, until tomorrow night with Chris Page, be good to each other,